Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the return of the Bronze Bomber Deontay Wilder. Obviously the last fight of his career up until this point was June of 2024. So now a year on from that quite devastating loss to Zhili Zhang. He's taking on 37-year-old American Tyrell Herndon this Friday, June 27th at the Charles Koch Arena, Wichita, Kansas. Deontay Wilder, now 39 years of age, 43 wins, 42 knockouts, 4 losses, 3 coming by way of knockout, and 1 draw. Deontay Wilder has stated that he is back to boxing and has put his expectations and desires forward, claiming he wants to become a world champion once again, and if not unify the division, if not even become undisputed. Deontay Wilder has got big dreams, lots of which have been snarled at. We're going to talk today about this fight, about the past of Deontay Wilder, and possibly what the future will hold for him. So, Deontay Wilder, he's taking on Tyrell Anthony Herndon. I'm going to just talk quickly about the opponent because, to be honest, I have never heard of this person, nor has most of the people that I have spoken to and or watched online talking about this fight. Tyrell Herndon, 37 years of age, 24 wins, 15 knockouts, 5 losses, 4 coming by way of knockout. Now he has only had 3 fights with 10 or more rounds. They're scheduled rounds, and majority of these fights have been 4 to 6 scheduled rounds. Majority of them not going the distance. Look, it's not a great opponent we're talking here. To be honest, it's an opponent that, if Deontay Wilder has those big aspirations and dreams to rebuild his career, this is a fight that needs to sort of be in and done within a matter of a few rounds. At 39 years old, Deontay Wilder can't afford to get into a war against a 37-year-old person that really isn't all that. You know, if you want to get in there with the people at the top of the heavyweight rankings right now, and you can't defeat a heavyweight that majority of people have not heard of. No disrespect to Tyrell Herndon, I'm sure he'll go in on Friday and put on a show and really try and win, because for him a win against Deontay Wilder will be big. Obviously it's not beating a Deontay Wilder that once was at the moment, but it is still a big name on the resume, and it'd be big. 37 years old. Obviously he's never going to achieve the heights of world level boxing, elite boxing, but it'll definitely be something for him and his family to remember for their lives. And Deontay Wilder, let's talk about a little bit of the past of Deontay Wilder. So Deontay Wilder, his last fight was that fight against Zhili Zhang last year in June. That was at Queensbury versus Matchroom 5v5 event in Riyadh. Zhili Zhang secures a round 5. I think it went down as a TKO, but I mean, it was as close to a knockout as you'll get. He brutally stopped Deontay Wilder, chased after him, hit him with that right hand whilst Deontay Wilder was barely facing the right way, and wins that fight. Prior to that, Deontay Wilder took on Joseph Parker in December 2023, suffered a unanimous decision loss. It was a masterclass by Joseph Parker. Such a good fight, and a great fight on this run that Parker has been on. Deontay Wilder had absolutely no answers. So Deontay Wilder is coming into this fight 2 fights in the past 2 years just about, with both of them being losses. The fight prior to Joseph Parker was his only win in his past 4 outings. He won that round 1 KO over Robert Helenius. That was in October 2022. That followed the third Fury fight. Look, I mean, it was an impressive emphatic KO, highlight reel, whatever you want to call it, but we're not talking about a very, very good Robert Helenius at that point. And to be honest, Deontay Wilder, if we look even further back, we look at the two Fury fights that he lost and the Fury fight that he drew. It's quite damning, the record that he's on. Like, before the first Fury fight, Wilder was sitting at 40 wins, 39 knockouts, 0 losses. He's now near 40 with only 3 more wins on that record, 4 losses and a draw added to it. So where do we sit with Deontay Wilder and those fights against Tyson Fury? So let's talk about those Fury fights. The first fight, Fury definitely outboxes Wilder. Wilder has some good rounds, drops Fury twice, and to be honest, even with those two knockdowns, I do believe Fury still won that. Most people believe Fury won that, but nonetheless, the judges came to the decision that it was a draw. So, fine, that's what happens. Fast forward, they fight 2 more times. Tyson Fury winning both by stoppage, 1 round 7, 1 round 11. And to be honest, before that the first Fury fight, Wilder's resume, 40 wins, 39 knockouts, but there was no names on there. There was no big fighters. He was fighting constantly. He was fighting, but he wasn't fighting elite opponents. Some of the big names that were going around on his way up, the Klitschko's, he wasn't fighting these people. And to be honest, Deontay Wilder, although he wasn't fighting people, I still believe was not a great boxer, but he knew that he could win in a second. Obviously, that catchphrase that he had, you have to be perfect for 12 rounds, I only have to be perfect for a second. And he was exactly right, because throughout his career, he is not a boxer, he's not a technician, he's not anything. He's got that right hand that just bang, on the button, lights out, fight's over, and Deontay Wilder wins. And if we look at that first Fury fight as the turning point in Wilder's career, not only because it's the first time that Wilder did not win, but I think even more than that, that was the first time that Wilder went into a fight, dropped his opponent, and he not dropped him once, dropped him twice, and his opponent got up. That's a big turning point, because up until that point, Fury landed that right hand, Wilder landed that right hand, and it was lights out. It was fight over. And all of a sudden, he's up against someone who's ranked really, really high in the world, right? Actually, at that point, he wasn't even ranked highly in the world, because he had just come off that ban. There was raps around Fury, but Deontay Wilder gave him that chance, thinking that he'd be able to beat him quite comfortably. Obviously, Fury had that layoff, and we weren't really sure what sort of Fury was going to come back and what we were dealing with. Fury puts up a great fight, and it was almost the turning of the guard. We stopped seeing Deontay Wilder's dominance and started seeing Fury's dominance. So they get that draw. All of a sudden, Wilder, his perfect record's gone, and he's come up against a guy who probably should have deserved the victory, and also went the distance with Wilder after getting crunched twice. We then see the second and the third fight where Fury really started to dominate, got stoppages in round 7 and round 11, and this is sort of the decline of Deontay Wilder. He loses those 2 fights. He then moves on and fights Helenius, gets that round 1 victory, and then suffers those 2 next defeats. There was also a whole bunch of personal and different things. We're not going to get into that because that's his personal business. We're just going to talk about Deontay Wilder, the fighter, and what he is going to bring on his comeback. Now, my problem with this fight is probably the same problem I had when he beat Robert Helenius, because he comes into this fight. Now, if Herndon wins, that's basically it for Wilder. Let's be honest, it's it. If it's not already it is done at that point. It's finished. But if he goes in there, goes 12 rounds, question marks. There's really no answers that are going to be found within this fight. This is a stepping stone fight to a bigger fight, and Deontay Wilder needs to get in there and knock this person out quick, because it goes 12 rounds, there's question marks, and to be honest, if it goes 12 rounds, are we positive Deontay Wilder wins? We know he's not a boxer. Obviously, the last few fights that he's been in, he's tried to become that boxer, but I still believe the best Wilder we've ever seen and we're ever going to see is the Wilder that goes out there and tries to take your head off. So, it needs to be quite a good victory here, and then it needs to be followed up with another victory, because he loses to Fury, gets that Robert Helenius fight, and although people weren't shouting that he's back or whatever, it was still a round 1 knockout, and it was impressive, and it was the Deontay Wilder that we used to see, and we thought, well, there's that confidence booster. He's going to go on, and he's going to get through Zhang, and he's going to get through Parker, and he's going to start rebuilding. And we went and saw 2 fights in which he tried to box, and he really didn't let that right hand go. He didn't really risk it to win. Gets stopped by Zhang, gets dominated by Joseph Parker, and that round 1 victory over Robert Helenius, where we thought his confidence might have grew, it didn't. So if he goes out there, and he could destroy Herndon within 2 or 3 rounds, if not less, look tremendous. And I'll still be here next week saying, I don't know. Because to be honest, we won't know, because you want to become world champion. Tyrell Herndon's not going to tell you whether you're going to become world champion, no offense to him. Now, there is lots of speculations about who Deontay Wilder's next fight is going to be, providing that he wins against Herndon. And to be honest, I think Wilder is still a big enough name to, if he gets through Herndon, looks good, can pull a big name. Who in the top 10 will give him that opportunity, I'm not sure. Because there's two levels to it. Number one, if you're a AJ on return, an Ajit Kabial, a Joseph Parker, anybody in and around buying for a spot at the top, beating Deontay Wilder, I'm not sure how much weight that holds now. Obviously, it is another name, Ajit Kabial. If he beats Deontay Wilder, it is a name on his list. But I mean, you're just weighing up the risk and the reward. I'm not sure there's a lot of reward. And to be honest, you could probably say there's not a lot of risk at the moment. But saying that, if we see a confident Deontay Wilder, if we see a Deontay Wilder that lets that right hand fly, then we're talking about a Deontay Wilder that is risky. Because the last thing you want to do is go into a ring against a Deontay Wilder on a comeback and pretty much give him the opportunity he gave Fury in the first place. And I say that because I think Ajit Kabial, everybody in the top 10 basically can outbox Wilder. No doubt about that. Look, if I'm to give you a direct comparison, let's say Justice Hooney versus Fabio Wardley a few weeks ago. Basically, any fighter that comes up against Deontay Wilder is going to do what Justice Hooney did to Fabio Wardley. But anybody that is in that ring is at risk of having what Fabio Wardley did to Justice Huni, if that makes sense. Just on an instant, turned around, you've lost, fight over. Deontay Wilder's on the come up, and your sort of peak where you just got yourself could be pushed back down, especially with the competitiveness of that top 10. Alright guys, they're just some of my thoughts. Leave in the comments below what you think about this fight. What do you think about Deontay Wilder's return? Do you think he should just give it up, hang up the gloves? There's no real need to come back. He's got really nothing to gain. In my opinion, I'm probably closer in that camp. I think what he did at his peak when he had the belt was very impressive. Lots of people like to downplay it because of now, but anyone that can get to 40-0 with 39 knockouts and defend that belt as many times as he did, because he defended it, 10 times, it is impressive. And is there a need to come back at 39, especially the way you've looked in the past? Alright guys, last bit of thing, we're going to touch on a bit of the news that has come out the past few days. So, let's start with, I think 20th of September, October 4th, it's down to Turki Al-Sheikh. This is Eddie Hearn speaking on the Eubank Jr. vs. Ben rematch. It does seem as though this fight is going to happen. It's just a matter of dates and time. They want to do it at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I believe Tottenham are playing at home on September 27th, in and around there. So that weekend is sort of pushed away. They can't do it then. They have to do it the weekend before or after. The other thing is we've got to look at what's happening with Chris Eubank and the British Board of Control about the use of sauna. Obviously, if there is a problem there and he faces sanction or warnings or whatever, I wonder how in which this fight gets made, because Chris Eubank Jr. really can't get any smaller and Conor Benn can't get any bigger. Conor Benn already looked really small in the first fight. He can't compromise and allow Eubank to weigh in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pounds heavier than he did the first time. To be honest, in my opinion, I'm happy with the first one. Let's just see Eubank do his thing. Conor Benn, go to your natural weight, because what I saw in that Eubank Jr. fight, I see a Conor Benn that can really, really make a charge for world titles in his own division. But I get it, there's lots and lots of money there, and we know all the backstory. Nigel Benn, Conor Benn, they want to win against the Eubanks, I'm sure. Other news, Dave Allen contacted about potential fight against Joseph Parker. Yep, I mean, Dave Allen, big win against Johnny Fisher. To be honest, in my opinion, 2 big wins over Johnny Fisher, but we won't get into that. Dave Allen is never going to be an elite fighter. He's a British level fighter, and a good one at that, I do believe. I like the guy. This fight is dangerous for Joseph Parker after what we saw Dave Allen do, although I do believe Joseph Parker is a much better boxer than Johnny Fisher. Do I think this fight gets made? Yeah, I mean, it very well could, because this fight, I don't believe... I mean, it very well could be on a Riyadh card, but more than likely a domestic English card. Either way, it's going to make money, probably the most money for Dave Allen he's gotten for a fight, if not in and around there. Joseph Parker, this is very little risk for Joseph Parker, and it allows him to not have to sit on the sidelines whilst waiting for Usyk or Dubois, because that is still an unknown quantity up until this point. David Benavidez to take on Callum Smith in negotiations for October. Yeah, I think that's a great fight, to be honest. That is a great fight. I really like watching Callum Smith fight. I think he's very good. Obviously, we know what David Benavidez offers. I do wonder, no disrespect to Callum Smith, he is quite a big name in England. I do wonder when we're going to see David Benavidez, not tested, because I do believe he'll be tested in this, but get the opportunity for a big money fight. Obviously, he never got that Canelo fight. Now he's gotten heavier. Will we ever see him up against the likes of Bivol? I don't know. But this is a good fight. This would make a very, very entertaining fight, I do believe. Alright, guys. That is all the news for today. Although the only thing I didn't speak about was Usyk and his split from his longtime promoter. No real details or information has been released about that. It's all basically speculation and people assuming what and why and how and who. Now, these two have been working together for a very, very long time, and they're very, very good friends. The timing is odd, I'll give it that. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think this will have any impact at all on Usyk's performance. The press conferences and stuff leading up to it will be different. And to be honest, I'm surprised they haven't released a statement. I wouldn't really believe that they've had a falling out, to be honest. I reckon it's more of a case of Usyk's at that age of when is he going to retire. His promoter Krasiak could be at the same point. He's just had enough. He's walking away. He might know what Usyk's doing in the future and either agree or not agree. Like if Usyk wants to continue, he doesn't, saying I'm cutting the ties now. If Usyk's going to retire, he's saying we've finished. Obviously, lots of those Ukrainian fighters in and around there have retired recently. Loma, the most recent of the retirees. So, I wouldn't even be surprised if when Usyk steps into that ring against Dubois, we see his mate Krasiak sitting in the crowd watching the fight, because I don't believe those two would have had a falling out, and that's the reason for their work together to be finished. Alright guys, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe. I will make a video talking about the Zerdo fight this weekend on the Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. card, and talk about that event a little bit. And that's all for today. See yous!